We're going to start, I just started the recording of the session. This is class number, what class are we in number? 13, class 12. Week 13, class number 12. Next week is week 14, and then 15, we wrap it up, okay? So we have a few weeks left. Let's make a nice, strong finish with everything that you guys have ahead of you. I'm sure you'll do great. The portfolio is the main thing that we're all focusing on. So going forward, that's, I'm sure with all different classes that you have and projects, the portfolio is something that you have in mind, okay? So let's go ahead and now venture into Figma and how to execute a proper portfolio delivery for your prototype. So I'm going to do that this week. Next week, I'm going to wrap that up and get into the mobile part. So next week, we're going to convert the website into an app. So we're going to do like a mobile conversion. And this way, you're going to learn all these little interactive methods that you can implement in your portfolio. Right? So I'm going to start with that. And then I'm going to also just mention some other things along the way. So let's get started. I'm going to also share my screen right now. If those of you watching, just let me know if you can see my screen okay. Every time I come on this workstation, I have some technical issues. So today has been good. Fingers crossed, everything's fine. Thank you for acknowledging me, for letting me know my screen's good. So here we are. One thing I wanted to point out in Figma, when you save the file, like the UI kit, I know I covered this in the lesson last week, but just so you know, if you haven't, the local file, some of you asked me this, it's under the menu, which is the Figma logo, or even, so make sure you go there, not up here, because that's I'm running the browser on Figma. And if I was at home, this might look the application menu because I'm running the program Figma installed on my computer. Here, I don't have any IT privileges to do that. So I'm running Figma through the browser. So in that case, the main menus are all located over here. The little button here on the top left corner. Then you have things like, file, save, edit, view, object, all the menus are there. So what I'm getting at is basically from the file menu, you can save a local copy. So this is what's important. When you save a local copy, that's the one that you can hand in as your working file, okay? If you haven't done that with your UI kit, make sure you do that and give it to me, okay? Because I want to see what you did in Figma. Now, because it's new, and because we introduced it halfway, if you did do a UI kit and you didn't do anything in Figma, just a design, you're going to miss a few points on the interaction, okay? If it's just a design, it's just a design. For that. So if I press play right now, this is not really the finished version, but I am be able to do this kind of stuff with the UI kit, right? Rollovers, switches, buttons, that kind of stuff. Yeah. Yes. Okay. It's a .fig. Yeah, yeah. Perfect. You're right. So if you have like a .fig, that's the fig for Figma. Yeah. If not, I'll increase the attempts. You can always do it after. Just make sure you include it in there. Because it doesn't show you what you zipped. It doesn't. But if you zipped everything together, it might be in there as well. I'll look at it, okay? Can you check on your end? You must remember what you submitted because you probably have a folder. If not, tell you what, I'll open up another attempt there so you can send it in as the attempts file. So what I'm going to do is go to the project here, which is I think number 10. So you should be okay then, yeah. So here we go, right? 2 attempts. So there's 2 attempts there. Yes.
So I sent you the link. Is that okay? I didn't send you the file. I sent you just the link.
It might be okay, but I prefer the file so I can see how some of the working ingredients. That's fine for now. You don't have to, as long as the link, it works, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes I find the link broken or not working, then I have to go back and forth with the student and say, hey, give me the file. It's just a foolproof way to do it. You send the file and it works 100%. Okay? So that's how that's gonna play out with going forward with the next assignment. You're gonna do the same thing. You're gonna save a local file. This way I can open it and, you know, look at it accordingly, right? Or mark it accordingly when I look at it. All right, now apart from this, I know we did another wonderful little exercise. Go back to drafts here. We started an actual little website design, so I was gonna continue on that subject now, but let me just quickly double check here where we left off for a second. So this is class number 11 and 12, okay? So what I loaded up there was, this is the project, of course. So from now on, you're focusing on your website, desktop, and mobile prototype. Now, the desktop is the main focal point because I want you to do a prototype in Figma for a website. That's targeting your portfolio, right? So everything will be, all your focus now is your portfolio for the next several weeks if it hasn't already started a few weeks ago. So this is the main thing, okay? Of course, we're gonna use Figma, and I do apologize, I couldn't find my working files as the PDF. So please remember, it's not XD, it's Figma, okay? This is Figma now, it's not XD anymore. I'll have to find my work file. I gotta dig through my hard drives. This handout, I made it like a few years ago. So by then I have like another work file I have to change. So it's Figma, it's not XD. Everything else is pretty much the same. If I can add an additional comment here, I'm just gonna go here and edit this. I'll put, you know, Figma is the final requirement for submission. Save local, copy as a .fig file to submit. Right? So I just put that in there. So it kind of clarifies this whole Figma XD thing. Okay, so ignore the XD part. Now, what you're going to be handing in is this. Okay, the research I said you don't have to do it. It's for those students that are, some students take like a course, let's say they didn't pass the UX course from one semester, they're taking another semester, or they're just taking a UX course. So they don't have any type of portfolio. So you're already doing this in your other classes. So you don't have to really worry about this part at all because you're already doing it with, I believe is with your other Jeremy, right? Who's your other teacher again? Right? The portfolio class, right? So what I want to see is this. I want to see a sitemap. So you're properly, you know, doing this on the right level. So you're going to create a visual sitemap that displays the hierarchy of your pages required based on, you know, what currently is there. Wireframing is optional. However, will be considered as an added bonus for your submission. So I always want to encourage you to do thumbnails, drawings, wireframes. This is the stuff that's you know, important when you do these prototypes. And then the last thing, this is the most important critical part, is the actual prototype. So the final component of your proposal is an interactive, high fidelity prototype for a desktop. So today I'm going to do another one with you live right here. Okay, we're going to do a website from scratch. I'll pull up some of my, I gotta update my website actually. I'll put up some of my creative group samples or whatever. We'll use other thumbnails if we need to. And we're going to put together a prototype for a website. And we're not gonna use XD. We're going to use Figma. So please remember that. Okay? Yeah.
How detailed is the website?
As detailed as you can put it together.
So everything clickable, everything showing, all of the images.
Yes.
So it's basically the website that's not live.
Pretty much. Yeah.
But we're doing 3 items. Yeah.
Well, I mean,
It is.
it shouldn't be that hard to do though.
No, but it's
How many pieces do you have?
varies per person. We're doing, like I'm doing Wix
Mhm.
for my real portfolio. is
Wix? Okay.
For Jeremy's class, I have to populate what we did for Felice's class for the music culminating websites, or just, so I'm taking elements, so I'm doing my real one,
Mhm.
and then I'm taking elements and I'm just putting
Yeah.
them, and I'm like doing it 3 times.
I know. It's how this thing was made up, right? I mean, this is not the first year we're doing this. This is been an ongoing thing now. But think about it, using all these, you're here to learn these tools. Okay, I know it's repetitive and redundant, but using different applications. Wix will help you learn how to build Wix stuff. Wix is great. I mean, I don't downplay it. Some people will. Wix is like it's like Canva. Okay, it's not a real web design tool. Okay, gets the job done, but has its limits. Okay, limitations. Okay, as far as content management, some other advanced features. If you want a basic website in Wix or WordPress, sure. Okay, but if you want to do something more extensive, you have to use other advanced tools. With this thing that you're doing for me, Figma is it's becoming a real big program right now, really popular in the industry. So you learning the tools and how to do this, I mean, would you want to do something different? The portfolio is easier. It's the same thing in your minds. You're just copying and pasting back and forth. It's a lot easier than me giving you a different theme. Make a website about a barber shop, let's say, right? So that's why, okay? So the portfolio is the main focus. So back to answer your original question, I mean, you don't have to do exactly every little thing, but maybe your main pieces of your portfolio, maybe like 6, okay? Maybe 2 of your best ones or something. So you don't have to go as extensive. But of course, I'll tell you, do as best as you can, okay?
Oh, Milo?
Yes.
Just a question about the visual sitemap.
Uh-huh.
Can we do that with Illustrator?
Yes, you can definitely make the sitemap in any program that you choose. You can do it in Illustrator. You can do it in, I guess, Illustrator. What other program would you use, right?
Okay, yeah, because I don't think that Photoshop it could be a good idea. I think.
Yeah, exactly,
better
right?
with
So Illustrator would be a deal because then you have a nice customized information architecture flow setup, right?
Okay, thank you.
You're very welcome. Yes.
So the thing, the wireframe, the website,
Uh-huh.
showing
That's right.
It's not for the whole website, it's for the portfolio.
That's right.
Yes.
The portfolio is the website.
So I think this is just me trying to not be confused. In Felicia's class, the website is home, about, portfolio content.
That's right.
This is not all 4 of those.
Yeah, it is.
This is all. So the portfolio is not the website, the portfolio is one page of the whole website.
Well, it's a portfolio prototype involves.
Designer website.
It is. So you got to talk a little bit of something about yourself, your work.
So this will
But
be,
those are minimal pages. There, you don't have to put a whole bunch of stuff. The portfolio is the main focus. That's right. So you're just repeating yourself, just like Christine said. You're it's redundant. You're doing it here and there. But the thing is, I mean, if we were to do this properly, you would do this before you do the website. This is like your prototype design. Okay.
I have a question, actually. If I felt like my UI kit from the first assignment,
Mhm.
if I wanted to add a portfolio piece to my portfolio, maybe I could use this and develop that idea.
You could, yeah.
Maybe that's a better
Mhm.
plan for me.
Sure. Yeah, if it works for you and that's the whole point, then that's fine. Yeah. That's a different program altogether. Yeah. I mean, there's so many ways to make a portfolio. Guys, you can make your portfolio in PowerPoint if you want. Seriously. I mean, there's so many tools out there, right? The thing is this, we have to use the tools that we're given to do these things. I think the portfolio class might be a little more lenient because it's all about your presentation. So then, I don't know, again, Wix is the first time I heard being allowed to be done, but Felicia will not be happy about Wix. He's gonna want to see HTML. Exactly, but I'm just saying how different requirements are for different classes. So InDesign would be the main tool to design the presentation, right? Are you guys doing InDesign at all or no? Sorry, InDesign would be more like your artboards. We used to do that before. You would print, you guys would have to print your portfolios and bring them in and present them as a tangible version. Did you know that? So we scrapped that since COVID. No more digital, sorry, no more printed portfolios. You would have to go and spend $200 and go to Staples and print. This was like a big nightmare for students. You thought you're frustrated. You know, as frustrated as they were trying to print this thing perfectly. They couldn't mount it and stick it and get the pages in. That's what they had to do. And then they had to do this other stuff that we're asking you to do. You guys have it easy. You don't have to do any printing. Printing is another nightmare by itself. The black's not gonna come out the way you want it to be. The purple looks blue or red. It's a whole like yeah. Okay, so you guys have it a little easier now. Okay, go ahead.
It's me being anal because I just asked you the question. I need to ask it a second time. No, it's a thing. Oh my god. Okay, this is me being crazy. So it doesn't actually have to be our personal website. It can be a youth, or it can be like a prototype for any website, and then we can add that to our portfolio later. That's what I'm thinking, because then I'll get another project out of this.
Is that what this project?
Or does this one have to be?
In theory, if you do that, you're still giving me what I want to see. I just want to see you guys use Figma as a tool to build a portfolio.
We don't have to make our own, like,
But then isn't that more work for you though, if you're gonna do that? Because you already have your thumbnails for your real portfolio. You have it's gonna help you do the website. It's a catch-22. It's a nice little way to do it all together. It's a little easier.
We do also have like.
If you want to do another portfolio for whatever, that's fine. Just let me know. Yeah,
Okay, but it is an option we're allowed to do.
I guess so. If you want to do that.
Technically, we also have a kit for another idea. That
Right.
The first assignment, our own, right?
Right.
Like, what is your?
Okay. So and then on top of that all, like, listen, my job here is to teach you these tools to make these prototypes. You guys want to enter this UX UI industry, you got to have the skill set. You're gonna have to learn XD. No more. XD is still there, but not really. Figma's the new jam, the new thing. So I want to teach you Figma as best as I can with the time that we have, so you guys can deliver these things. Okay. Okay. So portfolio is the main topic, and I know you're doing it like in this class and that class, and it's just how it is. At the end of the day, you'll have a very nice looking portfolio, right? That's the main thing. No one's gonna ask you, hey, what grade did you get in Photoshop or Illustrator? They're gonna see your portfolio, and the portfolio will speak for itself, right? That's the main thing. All right, and the last thing that we're going to do, and next week I'm gonna enter the mobile conversion part, which we're going to do an actual, an app in Figma based on the desktop version. Okay, so that's pretty much what's happening. And I gave you as much time as I can for this. It's going to be due at the end of the week of Friday, April the 19th, just in case you want to maybe add some interactive stuff or some other things on top of your portfolio. Okay. Any more questions about this?
Yes, just one more question about the app and the web. So we're gonna make the web and the app. So
sorry,
we
speak
have
up a little
to-
louder. I just sometimes the volume's a little hard here. Go
Oh,
ahead.
yeah, sure. Yeah. So we have to make like I don't know if we have to design like a version, like the app version and the website version, or
That's right. Yes. Yeah.
Okay, it's different. All right.
Yeah. And I will, like I said, I'm going to demonstrate that. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Thanks.
Okay. Right. Let me see if I have any files here that I saved that can just shed some more light on this thing. UX, UI portfolios. So these are XD files. Oh, I got to log in here. That's Humber. Let's see. So here's an example of some students. You want to see some samples of other students in the past?
This is for the final.
Final, yes.
Are these able to post it as like screenshots or whatever?
Or this is
This is an XD file. If you want to show you, yeah, open it up in XD if you want. Yeah, open it. I guess so, but like, I mean, I can screen grab. Just watch this video. Watch this video. Because I already have too many things. You know, these YouTube things and stuff. Just watch this video and screen capture it yourself. Okay, so watch. Here we go. Look. So there's this Christian Danukalov, and this is his portfolio. He did I think his website looked different, but he wanted to put the menu on the top left corner. He was tired of this traditional menu that goes across the top. So I said, fine, let's see what that looks like. So he did a nice little view, and if you click on these, they just open up, you know, different. This is his effective typeface. You guys have to do this as well, right? All these projects should be familiar with you because you created your own fonts, right? Fonts, typography, project, right? So I'm going to go back home. This is his other project. This is his, I think it was the ad campaign, right? Right? He did a whole thing about the ad campaign. And then he did, and look, again, thumbnails work well. I mean, whether you use the Adobe programs or these other, you know, you guys have these thumbnails already. You have all your work's done. All you have to do is create the layout and make it interactive, really. You don't have to look for images and stuff. You already have all your portfolio ready to go. So all these other things are basically, as you can see, thumbnails that blow up and they just scroll like this, right? Now, the menu here works well because I think it also navigates with the actual, and yeah, he has a, he's got 3D experience, so he did put his 3D video in here. Now the video doesn't play, but I believe if you have another version, you could actually play the video in there. Not important, again, I don't care about your video. Honestly, I care more about how you're gonna present it. Okay, so the video, I'm sure it's gonna work or doesn't work. It's the point is you have a video there, you can put a YouTube link, it's gonna work, okay? Then you have some other projects that you've done before. And about, okay, and this is the gentleman here. His name is Christian Danukalov, and yeah, so a little bit about him. So you see, back again to the portfolio, it was mostly about the portfolio, right? Now, what would be a portfolio without you a little? You have to talk a little bit about yourself. Not a big deal, something quick and short, and like a home page introducing the portfolio, right? And things like that. So this is an example of what a student of mine did in the past. So this was done in XD, and your job is to do it in Figma. That's the only difference here. Now let me show you another one here. This is Elio. The projects, timeline, about, okay? And then the timeline reflects the different, it's like a resume kind of thing, shows his work there, right? And this is the projects that he had, and this is like the main page. So then there's the social media icons and everything else that's there. Now look at this, from that, there's a mobile version. So now you can show it off on your mobile device, okay? So this is now how the mobile device looks like. This was not the best example, but you can see how this works, and you can just go there and convert this thing into like a mobile app, okay? That's why there's two parts to this. So the last thing you're gonna do is like the mobile app version, okay? So there's a desktop and there's the mobile app version. Some other examples here. Elizabeth. All right, I think this is a nice one also as an example, okay? So again, menu on the left, it's becoming a trend now, right? Look, a little bit of rollovers and stuff. So about, right? A design. There's the portfolio here, right? Then there's other, ways you're gonna present it. And all you're doing, you're relaying information from one media to another, right? Your website's done in HTML. And this one's done in Figma, right? So it's a lot easier to kind of do all these things. So you can go like next and previous, the button is there from different pages, view live, and different things, right? Then there's the mobile version that looks like this. Here's the mobile version. Okay. So right. Harkamal. Let me see some other ones here. Right? So about me, my work, contact, right? Same thumbnails, right? Click. So today I'm going to show you how to do basically this kind of stuff in Figma. We're going to do this today. Like you click on the actual thumbnail, it shows up in a separate piece. You can click away to close it or just go next to previous. And I mean, once you achieve this, I mean, what else can you possibly do, right? At the end of the day, people want to see what your work looks like. And the fact that you're doing it in a prototype program makes it that much more exciting because now you can produce this thing in different applications. And there's a, please don't use a contact form. Like the best way hackers can hack your website in and just do your thing. Just put your email in your thing. I mean, you know what contact form is good for? Companies that need to query different information, subscribers and stuff. For you, it's just the way people want to get a hold of you.
Yeah.
I don't mind if you put a contact form, but I know from experience, especially with WordPress websites, that was like how you get all kinds of spammers and stuff getting to access to the back of your site. That's how people, you're making your site more vulnerable. Think about it. It's like leaving your door open in your house, your window open. The burglar can break in through that window. This is the window that hackers get in through websites. Contact forms. There's other ways they can do it, of course, but this is one of the ways that's pretty vulnerable. Sorry?
Wouldn't they have jumped on fixing that at this point?
You think, but they still do it. And they jump on it, and guess what? Hackers find another way to do it. It's always a...
But then you're putting your email.
We should make it a personal.
I wouldn't put your home address,
No.
right? Unless you have a business. But nothing wrong with putting your cell phone and your email if you want to contact you, right? But that's a good point. I mean, that's one way to hide your personal information so you can send your contact info. And to be honest with you, if you're an individual, yeah, you'll get the hits with the spam here and there. But if you do it properly, there's security measures you can do so you won't get hacked. There's ways to, you got to pay a little extra. It's like a virus protector on your computer. So there's ways you can. Yeah, it looks more professional if you can like get a proper domain name and stuff, right? With the proper email. Like if you use your Gmail account, I mean, I know a lot of professionals that still use like Hotmail and Gmail and stuff, right? They do.
We make a Gmail account for our business though.
I know, and that's another little shortcut people do. Like they'll put their business at gmail.com, right? That's yeah, I know. But guess what? A lot of professional services, like if you're using like, let's say Constant Contact or MailChimp, if you put a Gmail address, it'll go to spam. Like Gmail addresses are considered spam sometimes because a lot of people, because they're free, right? But if you have a legitimate email, like at
How do you get a legitimate
by domain.
email?
So you have a website
Yeah.
and you get a domain affiliated with the website
Website.
as an email address.
Oh, MailChimp, I've used it a lot, and they don't allow.
Right.
Allow you to.
Yeah, you can't send anything with a Gmail authenticator. You have to have a real, like at thecompany.com or something like that. It's more valid for them because anybody can create a Gmail account and pretend to be somebody they're not.
But for the most part, newsletter, sign up.
Right, but I've had things happen to me where my Gmail or other people's Gmail ended up in the spam folder. It's just how Gmail works sometimes, right? Because trust me, I love my Gmail too. I have I pay Google $4 a month just to have a terabyte on the cloud. You know what I mean? I use it all the time. But what I'm saying is professionally, you should have another email. Not now, but later on, consider that, right? When you're done school and you're like, you know what, I'm gonna get my own domain name. Can I ask you another thing? Are you gonna have a real website on the server?
Yeah, I hope so.
Do you guys purchase a domain yet? Did you get hosting?
Oh, that's all gonna happen.
Oh, that's happening next week.
For me personally, I don't know, it's not.
Is it part of your curriculum? Is it part of your requirements?
No.
No, it's not part of the requirements anymore. Felice's doesn't need to be live. It just needs to be.
I get, okay. I think me and him last time we conversed on that subject, he felt that way. I think it was more fair because some people weren't ready and whatever reasons.
But for Jeremy's class, we're expecting to have it live in some sort of website building service.
So,
But
would,
Behance works.
yeah, you can use Behance as a live web service. Again, you know, you can deliver this in many, many ways, right? So eventually try to aim to get your website up. Okay, here's another one here. This is what a sitemap looks like of your portfolio, perhaps, okay? So you have your home page, projects, about, and contact. And these are like, look, most of these students have 6 good projects to show. How many projects do you have? Throw a number out there. Minimum 6, right?
No.
Minimum. You're not gonna have 3 projects, right? You could have like good 6 projects.
Also, we're supposed to reuse ones from our program. That's something we're supposed to do unless it's really, really relevant. So then it's like that cuts us down, so we have to make our own brand new spec work.
Oh, right.
So for that reason, we don't have as many.
Right.
And everything's movie and abstract.
But you do have like a packaging project. You do have like an illustration, digital drawing project. Well, you can't use a digital illustration.
We're not supposed to use projects from this program in our portfolio.
Unless it applies to something that we want to do in our careers.
That's what Jeremy told us. He said we should be making our own spec work.
Right. So is this what you're doing right now then?
Yes, I'm stressed.
But right now, all you have is your schoolwork. I mean, I know, but realistically speaking, I mean, guys, you're not professionals yet. Some of you, yeah, I know some of you do work in the industry and you do have a graphic design. But for those of you that are students, we call it a student portfolio.
Yeah.
And then you create then you work your way to make a professional portfolio. You got to start somewhere.
But Jeremy also said that, you know, you use what you have now and your
That's right.
portfolio is going to evolve with you.
I don't think he expects you guys to create professional, right? So anyways, do what you can. I don't want to conflict with what he's telling you guys, but just, you know, from a common sense perspective, you do have student work, which I would, you know what, some of your work is great. You should be proud of what you've done in school. This is what you signed up for. So you can use some of that stuff. And then, of course, eventually you have a professional portfolio. All right, so let's keep going here with some nice other examples here. What's this one here, Luciana? Okay, here's another one. This one's kind of cool. It's got a lot of different pages and stuff. So, okay, so you ready? This is Luciana's website, her logo, about, portfolio, contacts, a photography. Yeah, she's got photography in her website, right? A little more, you know, contact, about me. So some other pages you can use. Let's click on the about page, right? Okay, do me a favor. Do not put lorem ipsum. I mean, if that's your last resort, that's fine. But put some real content in there, even if it's a mock-up still. You're not going to put a lorem ipsum on your about page. I think I made a comment on it too, right? Don't you have a quick little biography that you have? Put it in there, right? Make it look personable, right? Here's the portfolio, okay? Very nice and clean, okay? So it's all about like these nice looking thumbnails with the layout. And then, of course, you can talk about your project a bit, right? Do the layout. Have you seen these portfolios before or no? Have you seen samples of other students' portfolios? What do you mean? No, you haven't?
Yeah.
Right? So this is pretty much, look, remember the album cover, right? From last semester, right? That you did. And then, you know, the website and stuff. And then there's, what else is there? The magazine, right? magazine layouts, right? Then you have the, there's the mobile app prototype. So this is how you can actually showcase your mobile app portfolio on your website. Look at this. See, she did a great job. Look at this. This was the mobile app project you did for me not too long ago. So this is how it's presented on her portfolio. Okay? It talks about what it is. It talks about the colors, the textures, the icons, and she does have a real company that does these little dolls, I think, too. Okay? So there's the thing, some pictures, some mock-ups, color. Look, an actual schematic diagram, some of the screen captures. So you can actually show your UX stuff as well. And of course, there's some other pattern designs. And then comes her mobile transformed version. So if I show you the mobile version now, right? Now this became an app. So look at this. There's the same thing, but in a mobile version. And there's the buttons up here, portfolio, and contact. The mobile version shouldn't be too hard. You're just resizing things. Honestly, it should take you no more than an hour or two. An hour. That's it. And we're going to do that next week. Okay. Did you see enough examples, or should I show you a few more? And this is how another student approached it. She made a PDF. Then she gave me the sitemap. Then she gave me her goal to showcase your work to clients and employers in a better way where they have accessibility to check out the designs and services offered, blah, blah, blah. So you talk about what you want to do. There's the research. She collected all her stuff. Then she showed me some wireframes, right? Some low fidelity stuff, right? So just to kind of preen up the whole thing. And then we get into the websites. So you open the website. Of course, this is done in XD, very simple website. Look, it's got like 8 pages basically, right? So you go here, about, portfolio, and contact. Now, she did do a different version. I think she spruced it up a little bit, but this was her main thing with mobile version, right? And that's the same thing. Let me just show you one more here. I want to add this on a nicer, right? So look, rollovers go a long way, right? You roll over, the color changes nicely, right? You can do that kind of stuff. And then you click on the actual box, and then you look at the packaging. Don't just leave it empty like this. Put a description, put some text in there, talk about your work. Okay, I would like to read more about what this. So this is lacking content. It's just a bunch of thumbnails and images, which is great. But I mean, talk a bit, right? Put some content in there. And this is what makes this, more exceptional on that level. Okay. All right. So enough of this. I'll show you some more stuff maybe next time. But let's go ahead and build this in Figma right now. Okay. Let me show you how to write again from the ground up. Last week we did a little bit, but today I'm really going to focus on creating a 4-page website. And they'll expand to other pages with the portfolio. Figma has a really nice technique that XD doesn't have, which is an overlay technique. So you can overlay images on your prototypes, which is kind of cool. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. And I'm gonna open up Figma right now. Enough with XD, because remember we segued into Figma from XD in the halfway through the semester because I'm teaching you both programs. Okay, so you're gonna have more information now. So here we are in Figma. I'm going to create a new file to begin with. So I'm going to go ahead and create a new design file. Okay. And by default, there's nothing here, just a blank canvas, not even a canvas, just a nice environment for me to work with. I'm going to go ahead and use this frame tool because the frame tool is how you create the actual pages, right? Now, you can also use your UI kit that you built and have that as an accessible item, and that could contribute to your website. So if you have like a UI kit, that might be also in some kind of a frame. Yes, technically speaking, you can open up your UI kit and save it as another file and make it a website. right? So you can actually do that. Okay. So for example, let me do a quick, let me do a few buttons here so I can put them on the website. I'm going to do a frame right now, just over here. And this frame will contain some of the elements I want to use for my website, perhaps. Okay. So I'm going to keep it very simple. Okay. So this will have, let's see how big this is. I'm going to make it the size of, well, this is like the website size. So I'm going to keep it smaller here, like this. Always keep the frame, in the hundreds of pixels is good if you want to do something, maybe thousands, depending on what you want to do. 500 by 500 pixels is how big this little box will be for me to work with, okay? So here I'm going to have a few buttons. I'm going to use this rectangle tool, and I'm going to create a button here. And I'm going to create two sets of buttons, one for my rollovers and one for the static button. Very important, because when you land on those pages, they become static. They shouldn't be pressed and stuff, right? Yes. Right. You can reuse it, but then you got to be careful because the size is different. So technically, yes, you have to make two separate ones to be on the safe side, right? So here's a simple button here I'm going to use. Now watch this. I'm going to convert this button into a component. I'm going to click over here. So create a component, and then I'm going to add another variant. And this variant, remember, you have to double click to select the rectangle, and that'll change to a different color. I'll stick with my purple and gray colors for now. And now let's make this interactive by simply going to the prototype tab on the right here. And I'm going to click on this, the gray button, and just drag that over to the purple button. And that'll be on click. No, it's going to be on while hovering. So while hovering, it'll change colors. I'm doing a website. Websites love hover states. Okay, so we're going to do while hovering. Change it to that color. That means if I hover away, it goes back to gray. So that's what's going to happen. All right. Now, when you land on the page, you're going to have a button that doesn't change rollovers. It'll be stuck, right? So for that, you make a separate one for that reason. So I'm going to double click on this little gray box here. I'm going to copy it, click away, and just hit paste. So I'm going to have something outside of this. Let me just do it again here. Oh, there we go. There's the rectangle. Copy the rectangle. See you later. Take care. Dylan, bye. So I'm going to click over here. I'm just going to paste this outside of the. You could do. I just want to keep it. I just want to keep this a very simple rectangle, so it's not, confusing everyone with states and stuff. Just want to keep it simple, right? So this has a rollover state, and this has no state, right? This will be very simple. Okay. So now what I'm going to do here is we're going to implement this you want to do some other UI kit elements that you've done before, you can also implement them. But this is enough. I might have some thumbnails later for my portfolio. We'll see. Let's start with this for now, okay? So we'll have a simple little rectangle here, and we have an actual responsive button over here. Okay? And don't forget the assets contain all these things, right? So now what I'm going to do here is basically create a new artboard. Maybe I'll make this one a little smaller. I'll leave it on the side. Move this over here. Go to the frame tool, and I'm going to just draw a frame any size. And from here, we're going to control this from the design option. This is going to be MacBook Air. I'm going to keep it nice and large, I guess. 1280, 832, that's a good prototype size. You don't want to make it too big because then it might not fit properly within your parameters of your presentation. So keep it within the size here. I like to use the MacBook Air. If you go with the Pros and the other ones, they'll be a little bigger. This one works too. It's a TV size, right? That's a good little HD size. There's also iPad size. These are all like based on pixels. So you can't go wrong with any one of these. The difference is when you do this and you hit the actual preview, it'll actually let me do the present, right? It'll look like a MacBook Air computer. Now, my projectors looks a little weird because of I'm hooked up to the screen here, but you see, it looks like an actual computer of a MacBook Air. So when you go over here, when you click on the frame, over here, the frame, you can select the actual size. So I'll go with the MacBook Air right here. And by default, you should always have your content clipped because you might have things on the outside. It'll purposely contain it in the inside, just like it's like an artboard, basically, right? All right, so this is a frame. I'm going to rename this and call it home page. Okay, this will be a home page. You might even have like an introduction, like an animation or something, or you might even have like an actual right to the website, get to the point kind of thing. Okay, so this is the home page. Now let's incorporate some buttons in here. Yeah.
Buttons, initially you can show us, we just bring them off the page, and that's what I did.
Right, I don't have to have an artboard there.
You don't have.
No, honestly, I don't. Just to have it. Honestly, I can grab this artboard here. Well, I don't want to delete it now because it'll delete everything in it.
Yeah.
But I don't have to have an artboard here. No, honestly, I don't have to. I can literally drag this outside just to show you. And this frame can be, deleted, and I can use these items from the outside inside. That's fine too. Yeah. Okay. Right. It's a good question though, because some people are wondering, oh no, now what? I don't have an artboard. And sometimes some programs get finicky, but Figma doesn't care, which is a good thing. Yeah.
The last time this was in sections. In a section.
Yes, you can also make a section, right? And keep this in a section. That's also fine. And the section also works. See, there's a lot of versatility here. So you can use sections, you can use artboards, whatever you want. They both work, okay? All right, so the most importantly, let's look at the page though. This is where you're gonna dress it up now. So I'm gonna create like an actual design here, and not just a rectangle. Maybe I'll do some nice tweaking with the pen tool. This will be, the height will be 150 pixels perhaps, maybe 120, right? And I'm going to use remember this button here? It's called Edit Object. And here you can literally go ahead and edit this shape, okay? I'm just gonna move this a little down here. If you wanna convert this into a curve, then you can, was it command? Yeah, command, okay? So you can actually do a command and click and drag to make an actual wavy, curvy design pattern, just in case you wanna do a little different than your typical straight boxes and lines or layouts. I wanted to switch it up a bit just to show you that, okay? So if you click on this and you go to edit the object, your little thing here, but just remember, hold command to actually, oh look, command toggles curve to path or path to curve. Okay? And then click done when you're done, basically, over here, right? Okay, so here you might have like a logo of some kind. You're gonna have your buttons, whichever way you're gonna dress this up. You're gonna have to fix it. I'm gonna just quickly do this here. You can use the scale tool if you like. Of course, all your font options are over here, so you can pick any types of fonts that you're interested in. Just gonna put here. I don't know what your logo might look like, but let's just say it's something like this, a little fancy looking logo that you might have. So a lot of people like to use their initials and stuff. And let's just say this is something that you're gonna go with. And I'm gonna group this together Command G. Even better, you can actually go to, when you go over here to flatten. Flatten means basically convert it to outlines. So now this is like object-oriented type of setup here, okay? All right, and then we're gonna put it here. This might be like the actual logo. And now we're gonna dress up like the menu here. So I'm gonna use the assets on the left side here. And I'm gonna use the, the rectangle. I should call it button just to kind of keep it all.
Where's the scale?
So if you hold the button down here, you can,
Oh my God.
so the little drop down menu, once you see the arrow, you know there's more hidden tools in it, just like Photoshop programs, right? So you can go, even this one has more tools. This one has more obviously object tools and so on and so forth, okay? So here I'm going to just quickly go back to layers here and rename this rectangle to, I'll call it button, okay? And we'll call this button interactive, and this will be called button regular. Okay, so regular button, interactive button from the sections, and from the assets, this becomes the button interactive. I'm going to use that one and just move it in here, and perhaps I'm going to change the color of this. We can have a more. Right. And maybe I'll go ahead and give this button. If you want to edit the buttons, you can always go inside your instance within the actual components. So if I go in here, for example, so look how nice this is. Whatever you do here, it'll update it over here. So let's say I want this to bring this up a little bit. I'm going to go down here and just maybe add a stroke, and I'll keep this. Well, First, I forgot to double click. Remember, you have to double click to select the rectangle to change the properties. So I'm going to go ahead and add like an outline. The stroke here will be white, and perhaps I'm going to create, a little, maybe like 3 pixels or so, right? And that'll reflect to everything I do here is automatically updated. Same with this one. You should do this before, by the way, not after, but whatever. We'll just do it quickly here. 3 points, and that's that. All right, so we have the button. We have the nice interface set up. We're going to dress it up with content very soon. So we have the UI kit that you've done already. You can incorporate that in your website. Let me just quickly do, let me name this. I'm going to call it my portfolio prototype. Prototype. So if I press the play button, the presentation view, it'll basically look like this. And there's my nice rollover. It's working nice. There's my logo. And this could be eventually my whole website, right? I'm going to have this whole thing look like a website soon. All right. So let's keep going ahead. We're going to create more buttons here. So we're going to hold Option, Drag, Shift, and Option, Drag, Shift, or Command D. You can make as many sections as you like. Here you can have your social media stuff you can have accessible. So you can have external links, which I'm going to get into as well. This will be like your main homepage, portfolio, contact with your portfolio links at the very top. I'm going to borrow those from my other files. I'm going to go to drafts. I think I have some over here. Just so I don't waste too much time. I know I showed you this last week. So I'm going to go and select all these little social media icons and copy them and go back to my other file here and paste them. Okay, so I'm going to paste all these little icons over here. And yes, people can access the social media icons this way, right? And yeah, absolutely. You can change the colors and stuff. All these nice little things. You can resize them, right? You can put them right into the right place. That you want to put some text inside here. I mean, you could make separate buttons for each one, but because we did the interaction stuff, all we really have to do now is basically maybe put some text on top if you like, if it's easier. It's a lot simpler to do that, right? Or you can just make static buttons, whatever you prefer. I'm gonna use the type tool for this one. Just simply type like home. And of course, I'm not gonna use that font for my menu. That was just like a logo thing I was messing with. So I'm gonna change this to a very simple, very sans serif looking typeface. So this will be my home button, right? Like that. You can really dress up your menu from here, right? So this will be the about button, and this will be like bio, portfolio. Okay, so there we go. Right? And yes, I forgot the contact button as well. So let's go ahead and make the contact button right now. We're gonna go ahead and make one more button. Hey, maybe we'll make it look different. Like maybe, so it's not like all rectangle. You can have like a special button to contact you. I remember back in the earlier portfolio days, students would put like a picture of a cell phone icon. They thought that was cool. Call me on my cell phone, basically. That was the thing. So you can put a little picture of a mobile phone or something. Anything that we catch people's attention to call you, you can make an icon if you like. I'm just gonna put a simple button for now. And then put a contact link, okay? So maybe we'll move. Let me lock this because this keeps interrupting every time I select this. So locking and unlocking is very useful, you know, in most applications. So if I just select this background here, I'm gonna right click and just gonna hit the lock button. It's Command Shift L, okay? So once I lock it, you can then right click and basically unlock it. It's right here. This is the rectangle. So I'm just going to call it banner. So it's locked. Perfect. So I'm going to grab all these buttons here, move them across. Okay. And I'm just going to grab this last one, the portfolio, and just make a contact button out of that. So I'm going to select both of them, option drag. And yes, it gives you the distribute even horizontal distance, 23. And this will be the contact button here. Right, there we go. Okay. It's gonna move just a touch more. We're ready to go now with the rest of the stuff. Right. Let's do a quick test, make sure the interactivity works. I'm gonna hit the play button. So make sure the button works fine because it did overlap the text, which is great. This is how this whole thing's gonna flow nicely with as my rollovers. Rollovers look really nice for like websites. I don't like how the black text looks though when you roll over it. So maybe I will switch the color over, but that's something, again, now I'm opening up a different world here where I have to be careful because then I have to make instances for each button. Yeah.
So when I press play, it shows my first frame it shows everything on like that, the left side. That's what it shows, and I don't know why.
So make sure this home page would be the initial page you want to play all the time. So I'm glad you asked me that question actually. So watch what I'll do to make sure from now on going forward, every time somebody presses play, by the way, it's only you, right? No one else will do this but you. We're gonna go over here, right? Actually go to the prototype, right? And create this as your flow starting point. If you add a little plus button, that means this flow will be the first thing we'll start right now going forward. So in the prototype, make sure you add the add button. So on the design, go to prototype, have the artboard selected, and hit the little plus button to make this a starting point. So when you hit start going forward, the first thing they'll play is that. Okay. Like I said, I'm not going to change the color for all the buttons, but it will maybe perhaps just tweak the color scheme here. So it's not so dark of a purple because it's really conflicting with my roll. That should be very nice, right? So if I go ahead and press the play button here, I'll do a preview. There it is, right? I'm gonna go ahead and roll over now. It all looks nice and easy. The rollovers look nice. And when I click on them, they should go to those sections. So you can overlap text on top of the original buttons to make this happen, right? At the end of the day, you're gonna go with what works. Okay, very good. So let's now go ahead and put some content in here. This is where everybody asks, this is the big question, what do I put on my home page? What are you putting on your home page? Anyone? What are you putting on your home page?
Maybe a photograph.
A photograph, okay?
Something about-
Some people, hey, again, there's no right or wrong answer here. I'm honest. It's what you want. Some people, go ahead. Some of your best projects, yeah. Some people put their philosophy in there, what you really believe in, who are you as a person, that kind of stuff. You can really get like pretty neat about it, and you know, get all the nuances in there about who you are, your philosophy, what you believe in. Some people put famous quotes from famous people, and you iterate that as you believe in that quote. A lot of people do that on social media. They'll quote someone else, and then they'll put their name on it, Benjamin Franklin or whatever, right? Someone like that, and they'll put their quote in there, right? So that's something you can do. I prefer, as a graphic designer, you should put something visual, of course. You should actually put, honestly, just to keep people coming back to your website, you should, every month, you should put like a new project on the homepage. Like that's your feature project. So it's like a feature thing. So people will be like, hey, I wonder what this person did. I haven't been to their website in 2 months. Let's go check them out and see. The website will attract audience like that. And Google likes that too. Google loves it when you make changes on your pages more frequently, because it means your website's live and you're constantly updating it. So let's, you know, make this homepage a little more inviting and something more like a homepage. I'm gonna go ahead and just get some graphic online for now. Just typing. Just looking for a simple background I can use. Maybe this one might do the trick. I'm gonna simply do copy the image, go back to Figma for a second. I'm gonna go to the layer section here, right? To the home page. I'm gonna paste the this background here. I'll send it to the very back, behind the banner, and maybe I'll subdue it. It's a little too, it's got way too much contrast. Maybe I'll do like 50% or something like that. So it's going to be like that, right? One more hidden, and then perhaps maybe I'll put some graphics in here or something. I mean, this is where you have to really do your own, you know, exploration and stuff on what you want to do. I'm going to lock this as well, okay? So it doesn't move by accident, and it's there. Now I'm going to go grab some. Let's see, some graphic design, backgrounds. You can put some nice cool stuff here, some Photoshop stuff. You know, I mean, this is where you have to do a whole bunch of different cool things, right? These are all good quality photos here. I'm just gonna put a splash page for now, okay? So we'll kind of have something there at least. So let's see how quickly here we can do that. Paste. All right, so this is like your, I would put like your best work forward or something that you really, really kind of want to showcase and show people what you're kind of all about. Maybe I'll do like a nice little quote on the side. Maybe I'll get something online, inspirational quotes, okay? And I'll put designer, okay? Design quotes, ideas. You can always look for this stuff. All right, there we go. I'll grab this one here. So we're gonna go ahead and maybe integrate this into my flow over here with some kind of a text message. I'm gonna go use the type tool just to draw a text box and include that in there. This is where your typography skills come in really handy, because you gotta make your text nice and big and stand out. Also carry a nice kind of way you can show this out. Copy and paste.
Copy up.
Yeah, copy and paste. You can also drag and drop. You can save. Don't forget, Figma has many ways to do this. Dragging and dropping works as well. Okay, I can drag and drop anything in here. All right. Of course, the font has to change here as well. I don't know what kind of fonts I have in this computer, but I'll pick something else just by going to the menu here. Right. I really don't have too many things here, but I do want to pick something different so it stands out. So maybe I'll go with something like this. Okay. I'll change the color over to this one. Perhaps maybe I'll keep it. Maybe black would be better. A lot of people like to use like a slightly grayish black, so it's like a 80% black or 90% black. It looks also nice, but it's not too strong on the takes away from the images. But this is for you to kind of figure out and work with as you put the stuff in there. It's a big quote, I guess. Maybe perhaps make it a little smaller. You should put quotation marks on this thing if you're going to do a quote. Right, so the quotation marks, so it's kind of there. It's nicely tucked away in the corner, right? So this is something that you can do. Maybe you can do like a capital. I don't know if you can do drop caps in here, but you could make the C a little more pronounced, make it bigger. So it kind of carries that kind of message. Something else might go here. I don't know. This is where you have to design something that looks like your home page, right? But that's the home page, right? And you can change this all the time. Of course, this can be a longer page. You can scroll down and put more content in there. You can basically make some people make their website one very long page. Have you seen that? Like a Behance portfolio. How many of you are making one big, very long scrollable page for your portfolio? So tell you what, I guess I'll show you also how to do that. I'll show you how to do a one-page portfolio. I'll show you how to do a multiple-page portfolio, okay? So this will be a multiple-page portfolio. I got to stick to it, right? But I'm going to convert this into a one very lengthy page portfolio too. So I'll show you both options. Okay, how to do a page-by-page portfolio or a lengthy one. Let's go ahead and hit the play button here. We'll do a nice little preview. This is what the thing looks like so far. Very good. All right, now let's go ahead and make the other pages. So here's how you do it. Once you get started, it's so much easier to keep going because all you're doing is replicating, changing, replicating, changing. Command D, there's my second page, right? This will be my bio, my biography page, right? So the bio page will simply have put a picture of yourself. Nothing wrong with that. Some people like to use avatars. They like to use different graphics and images and stuff. So you can do all kinds of different things, right? So this is like talk a bit about yourself. And perhaps maybe some interesting life and vision. Yes.
I'm curious if I can edit to, because I didn't realize you can edit buttons once they're like, you put the asset in the thing, you can edit in the thing. Does it change? It doesn't change it in the library, the asset library. What I'm wondering is, say I decide, you know what, actually, I don't want my buttons to be gray. Let's say I want them all to be, you know, like freaking blue. So then, do I have to individually go and change all the buttons?
No, because here I can change the variable and it'll count all of them.
So it will, you make it.
That's right. As a matter of fact, I did that. I made it lighter.
I didn't watch.
And it was too dark. It was that color.
Yeah.
So I couldn't see the black, and I didn't want to go change all the colors, make all these different buttons. So I went ahead and did the actual. I made a lighter color here, and it automatically affected those ones. So the benefit is this: I'm using a clever tactic. Notice I have no text here. It's better text. You have to make variables and some advanced functions. If Figma gets advanced, there's some advanced things you can do with Figma. But honestly, I would lose all you right now. It's a little advanced. So I'm going to show you some tutorials you can watch for that. But you don't have to do that for a portfolio website. That you can do some really high-end prototypes. And trust me, when you learn this, you can easily get to that point. But for now, I'll use a simple transition, and I put the text on top of it. It works. It works. Oh, you can make separate buttons with text and make them into different components. You can make 4 components with 4 buttons. Not a big deal. Okay, you can duplicate the component and make other components and make more buttons, right? I'm just keeping it very simple to get to the portfolio part. And then we'll get into some more interactive stuff. Don't forget, we did a lot of interactive stuff last week. The UI kit, interactive stuff. The sliders, the switches, the buttons, the rollovers. Do you have to use all that stuff? No. But this stuff works for the website, so let's stick with it. All right, let's go ahead now implement some more stuff here. This is where you have to talk a bit about yourself a little bit here. So we're gonna go get a nice picture of yourself. Okay, so silhouettes. Right. So we're gonna copy this image. How do you bring images? You can save images. You can copy and paste images. I'll show you both. I did copy and paste so far, but if you're the type that likes to, you know, bring things in, I should definitely, you know, you can save your files. Oh, this is an AVIF file. So I'm gonna have to go and convert this into, just get a proper web file, okay? Let me just see if I can convert this. PNG. Yeah, I'm like hacking the file at this point. No problem, I'll just do this. I'm gonna do Command-Shift-4, I'll just convert it to an image file. Okay, go like this. Some of these files, you gotta be careful when you get them off the internet, especially nowadays, a lot of web formats and other formats that are not recognizable. So, go right there. Right? 2 T's. All right, silhouette. So this will be obviously brought in here. And look at this. Isn't this cool? Look, it has the same blend modes that Photoshop has. You can do darken, it gets rid of the white background. So you kind of do right this on that right there. So you can just totally get all your stuff set up. So this is like your bio page. This is your home page. And now we're going to make longer pages with more content, which I'm going to teach you how to do what's called a scroll function. Like you can actually click and scroll. The website will even animate and scroll for you. Really cool stuff you can do with Figma. XD can do it too, but we're no longer, you know, doing XD. So let's go ahead and make another page now. Command D again, duplicate the page, right? This will be the big one. This is the portfolio page. So I'm just going to go ahead and you know, put on a bunch of thumbnails in here, and maybe we could talk about your portfolio journey. It's important. People love stories. Without a story, nobody. If you watch the movie with no storyline, no plot, well, a bunch of explosions and stuff, it doesn't make it a movie. It won't win any awards, that's for sure. The movies that win awards is the movies with stories. People love stories, and they love, like, they get captivated in the story, the characters, the plot, and everything. So make this the same thing. Make it a journey for people to, like, really find it interesting. Talk about it, right? Make it really interesting. Make it stand out. So, you know, I definitely want to emphasize that. And then we'll bring a bunch of thumbnails in here to make this a portfolio gallery. Now I need thumbnails, so maybe I'm gonna go here. Maybe let's just Google some stuff I'm gonna use right now. So maybe how about best of graphic design? Let's get some real inspiration here. Graphic design. All right. All right. So look, there's some nice way. I mean, look, even these little thumbnails, you can put it like a 9 up if you like. You can do up. You can do you know, thumbnails are thumbnails. Basically, you can do all kinds of different ways to implement your thumbnails. So maybe just for now, I'm going to implement this layout here, so I don't have to spend an hour resizing a bunch of thumbnails. Will you follow me? You guys can do that, right? So let's say I'm going to use this format here, and of course, you're going to have your own thumbnails that you have for your portfolio. I'm just going to right click, okay? I can just save this and copy and paste it just to make it quicker. I go in here, and this will be pasted as my portfolio page, right? So this will be an actual portfolio page here. Right? Like I said, this will be right over here as the portfolio page. Centered, that's right. And if this is going to show up here, I might as well make this also more pronounced by putting a little comment, right? Yeah, this can change. Look at this. Copy. Every artboard you click on, it'll paste in the same place, okay? So this will be talk about yourself. And this will be here. Put your best work forward. Right? So I'm giving you some tips here. I'm giving you tips on what you should put on your pages. So put your best work forward. Perhaps that would be a good, attractive way to showcase your own page. Your bio page, talk about yourself, and your portfolio page. Portfolio. Talk a bit about your portfolio journey. Like, you know, I used Illustrator version, whatever. You know, I really went deep inside the blend tool because I really found it intriguing how the colors blend more naturally as opposed to using gradients and maybe the gradient editor tools. I really did everything with the blend tool, and this is the result I got. Blah, 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 right? Really talk about it. Right? I'm going to do the same thing here. So basically, that's how you can showcase your whole stuff. Now, these will be little thumbnails that expand in other things, so definitely you can have more pages going forward. Let's make this a little longer, though. I want to make this like a longer page so you can see how it scrolls, basically, right? So if this is going to scroll, I'm going to have other portfolio sections in here, and I'll teach you how to make a really cool little emphasis on that. So let's go ahead and maybe grab a few more. I'll do like 3 examples here on this one page. So this is like our lengthy page, the one you scroll, right? The portfolio will be our scrolling page. Now just one more quickly, just so we kind of get everything done. This is your contact page. All right, so this is where you get contacted. And I said earlier, the forms and stuff, you know, they're fine, okay? Just be careful, get the right security in there for your websites. If it's WordPress or something, there's a lot of security plugins so people don't hack your website. So maybe I'll put like a form here. I'll do a contact form very quickly to show you. So yeah, something like this might work. Get in touch with me. Yeah, maybe I'll do something like this here. We'll do copy and we'll paste it in here. And this is your contact form, right? Right? Perhaps I can maybe round the corners a bit, right? Maybe this will be a nice way to get a hold of. I would definitely suggest you do, because you're showing off your Figma skill set and your technical stuff. Absolutely, yes. But again, if you're strapped for time and that's all you can do, it's better than nothing, right? Absolutely. No, you don't have to, honestly. No, I thought you meant the actual button rollovers and stuff. Yeah.
I mean, like the get in touch buttons. You're bringing in.
Put a rollover on the button. Not a big deal. You know, something. The fields, you're not going to make them interactive because then it takes more work. You don't have to do that. Yeah. So you hit submit. It'll say thank you or something.
But not
You can put it over the picture.
Like do the whole picture? No, you're gonna design this with rectangles and stuff. You're gonna design this little the box, right?
Right, but if you're, I'm just saying.
Hmm.
That I'm designing my website in one place.
Right.
And then instead of recreating again, take an image, bring it in, put the button, go over it.
I get it. Yeah, that'll work too. Yeah, you can be smart about it. That's fine. Okay, I'll get it. I'll see your websites too, so I'll know you did that. That's fine. Okay. All right, that works. Again, we want to be smart about this too, right? But you see, look, I got my 4 pages set up, right? So now let's I'm gonna add more stuff here. I'm gonna teach you some really cool portfolio tricks, because let's be honest, this is about the portfolio, right? But it's also important how you present your whole showcase. And I did this right from scratch, okay? I started with nothing, a blank canvas with a bunch of buttons here, and you know, about an hour and a half in, and I already have it done, right? And you should, honestly, no excuses. You already have your portfolio. I don't have to surf the internet for thumbnails. I have thumbnails. I have your portfolio thumbnails. I can use those, right? So let's go ahead and link these pages now. So let's go ahead and do the well, let me expand this a little bit more. So I'll just get some examples here. Look, I got my Photoshop stuff quickly, copy, paste. There's the Photoshop stuff. I'll grab another quick little thumbnail. I'm going to grab this one here. So copy, paste. Okay, this is the other one. Of course, you should keep them nice and even so they're all nicely lined up. Let's get one more. Some nice typography stuff these guys are doing. Eh? Copy. And now with AI, I mean, who's to know what's real, what's not real anymore, right? I'll tell you one thing, if you can mix the two together, you're a force to be reckoned with. All right, so you get it, right? We talk a bit about each work. We're gonna expand more on this part here. This is important because I do want to dwell on the how to, you know, make your portfolio nicely presented in your portfolio section. So you can either do something like this. I'm going to show you how to do quick little overlay tactics, tricks. Honestly, it's easier than XD. Like I used to think XD was easier. No, Figma is easier, especially when it comes to like portfolio stuff. It's really better. Okay, I'm going to teach you some nice cool things we can do with this here. Keep in mind, this is being recorded, so you can always watch this video and fast forward it to these parts. Okay, so this is where we're going to expand a little more later. For now, I'm just going to go ahead and maybe copy and paste some content from here. Option drag it down here. Change the color to, you know, something like this, perhaps. This is your portfolio piece 1 and description. So that's pretty much how that's going to be there. And yes, you should definitely put your description in there in each piece. Absolutely. This is your piece number 2, right? So you have different pieces. And this is piece number 3. Yes, put some headings in there. I would put a title with some description down here. That'll just make it look that much nicer. You have to put a whole bunch of stuff, just a little description so it doesn't look too plain, right? A little bit of text. Yes?
My question was a different one. Oh, you know how you did the iframe last time, and then you can like send people to the website. It's not actually.
Yeah, that's my little hack trick.
So
Yeah.
what I'm wondering is if we design the whole portfolio on Figma,
right?
We can use that as our portfolio.
Yeah.
For life, like.
No one's the wiser. Yeah, you could.
I don't understand.
Why don't you understand?
Why is that okay?
I'm kidding. I mean, what do you mean okay? Like a real portfolio or like a copy of a link to your website portfolio? What are we talking about?
Well, just if I wanted to send someone a portfolio, I could send them this like.
Oh, the link expires. Once you close your file, it updates automatically. Yeah. It's a cloud, right? So if you erase something in your cloud, it's gone from the link is expired, basically. It does have a shelf life. Yeah. Okay. Right? So basically, we're ready now to navigate. Oh, thank you. That's perfect. Let's get the drill gun going. Who's got the? That's right. There you go. Is there a dentist next door, or are we looking at a construction person?
Is that what your dentist sounds?
No, that's no, my dentist. Maybe one of them, right? Yeah. How did I make it? Here. I did it here. So when I did it here, right, from the assets, I just brought this over here. Because this captures this. So this looks like independent now because this shows me the revealing parts. But this is the actual button, right? So that's what these are. Okay, now let's link the main button. Get into the little details, right? So this is where it gets a little tricky, but not too tricky. So the home page, we're already there. Well, guess what? Nothing should happen. Nothing should happen. Look at the hammer out now. First the saw, now the hammer. All right, so this basically will be like a deprecated button. Perhaps I want to even make maybe one more. Can somebody go there and tell them not to do this anymore? You want to go there and just smack them in the back of the head? I'm kidding. Just tell them, stop it. So I'm going to go Option Drag, right? Notice how I copied two simple rectangles, and this one's going to be the color that's going to land on. And this will be, all right. So basically, this one here, right? Just to quickly match the styles here, I'm going to go with this one and make it 3 pixels, same as this one. I'm going to go ahead and make the color with the 3 pixels as well. Okay. So the reason why I'm doing this, right, is because the button will not be interactive once you're there. So it looks like it's deprecated. You know what deprecated means? It's like clicked on. It's like an elevator. You push the button, it stays lit, right? You want the button to stay lit. That's what I want to happen here. I want this to stay like clicked. So to do that, I'm just going to grab this one here, right? So I'm going to copy this one, copy, come over here, and just hit paste, right? And I'm just going to replace it with this one right there, like that. Okay. Now you can also do this. You can go Command X, delete, and Command V, right? Paste it in place. Or you can literally create a grid and move it in line if you like. But I like this one better because what was that view again? Oh, I'm in view. Sorry, it's here actually. Look at that. Show outlines. Just like Illustrator. Remember the Illustrator? X-ray vision goggles? When I teach Illustrator, I literally do this. Everybody put on your X-ray vision glasses and press Command Y. Because Command Y, what it does is this. Outline mode, right? So you can see everything through it. So now I'm going to go ahead and select this button here and bring it to the front because I couldn't see it. I can't see it. Command Shift O is a shortcut, by the way. So I can't see that. What the heck? I'm pressing too many shortcuts here. So I'm going to press Command Shift right square brackets. I just
change the color of the button, just like on the page itself.
Because it's going to conflict with my
Hover effect.
right. Actually, you can because it's a copy of it.
Yeah, it's the exact same.
But it still might do a hover thing. I just want it to do nothing. Just keep it simple. Yeah. So I'm going to go ahead and bring this to the front. Oh, so it's basically Command right square brackets. So by me doing this, I made this button look like it's deprecated. I'll do the same thing here, except I'll do it on the bio. I'll do the same thing here on the portfolio, and I'll do the same thing here on the contact. Get it? Right? So let's do it like 3 more times. Watch this. Paste, right? This is the bio page. I'm going to move it right on top of the bio button, right? Command X. Grab this, delete it, Command V. X revision glasses, hit the bio button, bring it to the front, Command Shift O again. Oops. Let me see here. I did, it's not working. Maybe my shortcut's not. So I'm going to go ahead and do it from the menu. Bring to front. Whatever. Okay, it's giving me a little bit of it's a stubborn button, I guess. So same thing here. Delete, or just first place it, put it right into the in line here. You can even leave it. Honestly, it's even going to work if you leave it alone. It should work, right? But I'm just trying to be very proper about it. So I'm going to hit Command X, delete this, paste, Command Shift O, select this, and basically bring this to the front. So it's just a rectangle with a text button. These are the interactive ones, remember? Okay, one more, contacts. So paste, put it right on top of the button where it's supposed to be, or the replacement button, and then hit Command X. X is a very, I don't know how often you guys use cut and paste. I know you use copy and paste, but cut and paste is just as powerful. So if you do cut, it puts it in memory, it takes it, but it remembers it. So if you go ahead and delete this, and then when you hit paste, it puts it right in the same place. See? So it took one out, swapped it with the next one. So if I press Command Shift O, I select the text, and this one I go ahead and bring it to the front, and then turn off the outlines again, right? So it's just a quick, easy way to make this whole thing flow nicely with my color scheme and my deprecated buttons, right? And the last thing now is to link the buttons. What about it? So these will work, this won't work. Because I'm already here, yeah, it's purple. So this is the home page. This is the bio page. This is the portfolio page. And this is the contact page. Does that make sense? It's like the elevator. Press the button. If you're in the 3rd floor, the 3rd button is not going to work because you're already there. The other buttons you can press because you're not on that floor. But if you're on that floor, that button is inactive. Right? Make sense? Right. I mean, technically speaking, you can leave it alone. It'll work either way. But I'm getting really, really fancy here with the whole UX, UI strategy. Because you're supposed to think of the little things because they're important. I mean, we used to do tabs back in the day. The tab portfolio looks like a bunch of tab buttons. So you click and you're there, right? Look at your phone next time, your bank app. Go to your bank. The button is highlighted when you're in that page. Everyone considers this UX strategy, okay? So let's go ahead and link the buttons now. So the only buttons here are these 3, because this one's already there. I'll go to prototype. Very quickly, link it to the bio page, right? It's going to be on click, navigate to bio. Very nice. Instant, okay? Portfolio page, same thing. Not the text, but the button, right? So the portfolio button will go to the portfolio page, and the contact button will go to the contact page, right? Good. Same thing here. The home page will go to the home button will go to the home page. The bio button is inactive. It's not going to work because we're already there. So in that case, the portfolio is going to go here, and the contact is going to go to the contact. So the only thing I'm leaving alone is the one that changes color because that's the one you're on. Make sense? Same thing here. Home. Let me zoom out a bit so I can see everything better. So home goes home. Bio goes to bio. Portfolio does nothing, and contact goes to contact. Well, so here's the thing. You can do it in one. I can do this in a more advanced way, do the whole menu, and then you can just drag and drop the whole thing over. That can work too. But then you have less control when it comes to this other stuff. I mean, it becomes a little confusing as well. So I want to keep this as very simple as possible so you can kind of understand it. And when you get more advanced with the software, there is more advanced ways to do this. I'll be honest with you. There is more advanced ways. Okay. I'll show you some of those things in a bit too. So now back to the last one. So this is the last one here. This is the home button. We'll go to the home page. And the bio button will go to the bio page. And it's not a big, look, if you were doing 100 pages, I will not waste my time doing this. I will show you that advanced way. Then we invest the time to set it up because we're not going to do 100 pages. But if it's 4 pages, it's not a big deal. Bunch of links back and forth. So the portfolio goes here and contact does nothing. And that took me less than 2 minutes because I was explaining it, probably even shorter. But if you do this scheme, it should work nicely with no problems. Let's go ahead and press the play button and check it out. Let's do a presentation view. All right, so look how nice that looks. The rollovers look nice. There's my home page, right? There's my bio page. Again, it's deprecated. There's my portfolio page. And there's my contact page. And my portfolio page is missing some graphics for some reason. That's weird. And there's the home page. Right? You see how all that's nicely working out? These are all rollovers, and that's right. So let's see what the issue is here. What's the issue? I think because I copied and pasted it from the website, and I resized it probably. But nonetheless, let's go to preview. Oh, it's giving me this thing here. Okay, no worries. So it doesn't like these images for some reason. Let's see here, image. 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 You want to know a little trick how to solve this problem? So watch this. Watch what I'll do. I'm going to trick it now, okay? Because it wants to play games. So I'm going to do Command-Shift-4. I'm going to hold Control. When you put real thumbnails of your work, you won't have this problem. I just copied this from the internet, and sometimes it's a web file, you know, the WebP file. Sometimes it's like another file. So I'm just going to do this. I'm going to screen capture it. I could do that, but I copied and pasted it. I didn't drag it. But now I'm going to do this. I just fooled it. I did a screen capture, and I pasted a screen capture on top of it. I know it's not. Let's just see if it works, right? There, it works now. See, so I kind of did my own little hack. I gotta hack the other ones too, though. Quickly, this one works fine, but that's fine. Let's just do it very quickly here, so you don't have to spend too much time looking for images. I just closed it. Oops. Alrighty. Good thing about Figma, if you close it, it still remembers the last thing you did. So same thing here. Here's how I hacked the file. I did Command-Shift-4. I did a screen capture, holding the Control key, because this screen capture is what I'm visualizing. And then I grab this, I delete it, and I just hit paste. I put this back in there. Right? Same thing with this one here. I'm going to zoom in. I'm going to do Command-Shift-4, holding Control. Again, you don't have to worry about this because your portfolio should be like real image files, which you can use and you can drag and drop them. You have no problems. So I'm just going to Command-V and delete this file as well, and basically make this the same width as that one. So it's nice and consistent. This one seems to work okay, so I'm not going to even waste my time with it. That's fine. And that's just basically how it's going to work. All right, let's go ahead and do another quick test here. All right, so there's the portfolio, bio, portfolio. It scrolls nicely. I can see all my work, and that's the contact button, and all working just fine, right? All right. So now what? Well, now I want to be able to sort of meet. I mean, there's nothing wrong with this. You can actually do a whole portfolio this way because it works. You have interactivity, you got good content, you have thumbnails, you have a portfolio. But perhaps I wanted to maybe click on one of these buttons, because how about if this was this? Get it? And I want to click on it to scroll it automatically. Yeah.
I'm trying to think strategically for all the classes.
Right.
Can I make my, you're gonna say no, the portfolio on Behance and then somehow incorporate linking to it in this? See, I think it would be a weird question.
You could put a link to Behance. Sure, I don't mind that. You can have an additional, so you know what? Because you're doing a prototype.
Yeah.
And Behance will be like another way to communicate with your audience. That's just all it is. So watch what I'm going to do now. This little thumbnail will link to this button. See what I did? I just copied and pasted it, made it smaller. So I'm going to go ahead and do this. Just link it right here like that. Kind of resize it, right? Like that. Same thing I'll do here. I'll copy and paste this. Even option drag if you like, whatever works. Just going to resize this one and put it over here. Right? Let's get one more. This one here. Copy and paste. You can even do copy and paste if you like. Whatever works. This one's a little scary. Let's put this one here. All right. We'll tuck this one in the corner. You see what I'm doing? I'm just gonna, and you're gonna do this for all your thumbnails maybe. I don't know. Right? So I'm gonna click on this one, and when people do, it's gonna come right here. And then maybe you'll put a button to go back or something like that, right? If you click on this thumbnail, it'll scroll here. Now, it won't just scroll there, it'll even animate. It'll even like scroll and stuff. Like it's called parallax scrolling. If you ever did this in your HTML or Felicia's class, you would know what I'm talking about. You can even see the images in the background move and stuff. It's a cool effect. So we're gonna do that with these three examples. And then I'll get into some other examples. Like next week, we'll have another class. I'm going to dive into some other cool things you can do with your, we're going to focus strictly on portfolio thumbnails and some other things you can do, open and close and things like that. I'll do it right now. Okay. So how do you link this one? Not to go to another page, but to literally go to this section, right? How do you do that? Let's test it first quickly. So this is what it looks like now, right? Oh, what else is happening that shouldn't happen? What's happening here? The menu doesn't stay fixed when I'm scrolling, right? Like this should not happen. It should stay there. So very, very easy fix there. You should do this from the get-go, right? But for now, I'll do it right here. I'm going to select all these elements, go to prototype, and basically the position will be fixed, stay in place. So these won't move. Get it?
An option to, when you scroll down, it disappears, scroll back.
What do you mean? Reappear. It's going to be always there.
It's fixed, right? But if you're scrolling down the page, it won't stick. But as soon as you start scrolling towards the top, it pops in.
I've seen that a lot with websites.
Oh, I see. That's like a script. I don't know if it has that capability. That's like a JavaScript, I think you can do with the website.
That's what I said, yeah.
I know. I see WordPress has that too. Yeah. It collapses smaller, then it expands bigger kind of thing.
No, it disappears.
Disappears, yeah.
And
Either
then
way.
when you start going back to the top.
It reappears, yeah. There might be a way, but I don't know offhand right now how to do that, okay?
So I'm just saying, there are things that I'm building that I may not be able to do.
Oh, that's fine. That's fine. It's not always going to be exactly as you see it. That's okay, right? But you do your best to make it happen, basically, right? So this one here now, let me just show you. bio, portfolio, contact. Again, look this, when you scroll, oops. What's going, that shouldn't happen. I locked, yeah. I locked the thing. So I'm gonna go over here on this page. I'm gonna open up the portfolio section and select my banner and the image because they're both locked. Right? I'm also going to fix them. Right. This is not fixed. Good. Bring this to the front. Bring to front. Gonna bring this to the back. There we go. Okay. All right, it's fine. In here. Well, this should also be here. There we go. Okay, I got it figured out. All righty. So this is now. Look, this one's gonna be. I'll make this fixed as well. Stay in place. Oh no, just leave that alone. I don't care about that one. This here will be fixed. Everything else will be fixed. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and press the play button now. Right. So bio, portfolio, contact. And yes, the menu stays nicely fixed and nothing moves forever and ever. Okay, there. All right. So now, so this is all good. But now how do you make these scrollable, clickable? Now we know how to do navigation, and that goes a long way. But now let's get into the intricate part of the portfolio section. So here's the cool little thing you can do in Figma. You can, let's start with this thumbnail here. This thumbnail under prototype, we're going to drag this thumbnail to go to this section. Literally drag it to where it's supposed to go. And on tap, when people click on it, scroll to. It'll scroll to that section. Not only that, I want it to animate. I want to do an animation about it. I don't want to just go there. I mean, let me show you the difference. Let's just leave it instant for now, and then I'll show you the animated method. So if I press play, right? So you click on this, it just goes there, right? So we want it to go like just, first of all, the location's a little off. I want it to animate, and I want it to go maybe slightly higher, like this. So for that case, you have to do some tweaking, but nonetheless, I think this is not even set up properly, just the way the screen is. So I think it's my view here on my projector and all these other things. So I'm not going to get too scientific about it, but I'm just going to make you understand the difference. So if I go over here, it's going to scroll to, look, animate. It's a lot better. Okay. Same thing with this thumbnail. We're going to make that thumbnail go to this box here, and that's going to, on tap, scroll to this image, and I want it to be animated. And you can do ease in, ease out. It's kind of nice. Ease out is nice. It slows in, right? And the last one is this one here. Drag it to the section you want it to scroll to, and that's going to go to this one. Scroll to, image 7, animate. Okay, so that's all you have to do to make these things scrollable. Some people even seen do like a one-page website. So if you click on portfolio, it scrolls down to the portfolio page, right? If it's like a one-page website. But we're doing a multiple page website with scrolling within one page to do multiple scrolling areas, which is kind of captures both in one. So let's see how that plays out. Let's go to preview, make this a little bigger. Looks like an iPad. How the heck did I get an iPad? Didn't I resize this thing? Anyways, portfolio, right? Scroll down, right? Click on this thumbnail here. Look, isn't that nice? This one, right? Let's click on this one. Scrolls to that one. Scrolls to that one, right? It's a perfect way to do a nice, beautiful scrolling portfolio. Now, how about if I want to click to scroll back, right? So they just have to link it back and forth to the way it is. So for this one, this text here, because it's a little clever that way, I'm gonna have this text go back to this box right here, like that. So scroll to blah, 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 right? Same with this text. You can put a separate little button. You know, it says click to go back to top, one of those buttons. So they'll do that same thing. So this one's gonna scroll back to this box here. And same as this one, instead of the image, you can put the image. The image can do the same thing, but I prefer the text. It's a little more instrumental that way. I'm gonna make this go back to this page too. So now let's see how this unveils. So let's go ahead and hit the present button here. So there's the bio, portfolio, contact, right? Very nice. So when I go here now, it scrolls and this scrolls back. See, this scrolls there, this scrolls back, and this scrolls over here, and this scrolls all the way back. Yeah.
I have two questions. Well, the first one I'll just have to ask Jeremy. I'm just thinking we could, if we make this really nice and detailed, and like we do a good job on just the portfolio, we should just probably submit that for our portfolio with Jeremy.
If he's okay with that, I don't have a problem.
Yeah, I don't think, and then my other question is there a way to import Figma? Like, say I design the whole thing and then just like import it to WordPress or something? Am I allowed? Can you do that?
So here's the thing. Here's the thing.
Yeah.
Somebody close the door. This is private.
Ooh.
If he's okay with that, you guys don't have to do a whole bunch of Shukla websites and stuff. I'm gonna teach you how to put this into an HTML file and serve it up on a browser like a real thing.
I wanted to ask you that.
But here's the thing, it won't be responsive. You know how you resize? If he doesn't care, it'll
He
work.
does care, but like, what I'm wondering is.
It won't be responsive, it won't be a mobile version when you resize the browser smaller. That won't work.
Unless you, it's, you make.
I don't know, again, me and Felicia have talked about this, about detecting the JavaScript on one, switching it to the other. It's more complicated, that's why you need CSS.
So, because I was just wondering if I were to be a web designer and I just wanted to use Figma and like bring in this WordPress or whatever, is that a thing I can do now, or are they not quite familiar with that yet? 'Cause you
No.
can't, it's not responsive yet.
Because the architecture is not built around it. This is a prototype software. It's not meant to replace web page design.
It's like, imagine
Nice, yeah.
if you could just,
Yeah.
it's on the internet.
Yeah. But don't forget, I mean, this goes a long way because without this, look how fast it took me to make this.
I know.
Can you imagine I spent another 3 hours? I would make this look like a real website, as opposed to me spending 20 hours building a real website. So now you build a client for my 5 hours, right? They pay you whatever money you bill them, and they approve it. Then you go and develop the website.
But what if you don't have the skills to code that look like,
Then you hire people.
it might not look exactly.
There's a job for everyone.
When you,
You gonna build your own bathroom? No, I'm gonna hire somebody that knows how to build a bathroom.
when you have a client and they say, can you make a website? And you go, sure, here's my prototype from Figma.
Right.
Then what do you do when they're like approved? Where do you make it? And are you able to replicate exactly, or do you have like a thing in your contract that says it might not be exactly the same?
Both, yes, that's what you said. And
Okay.
these are human beings you're talking to.
Yeah.
They understand not everything's perfect. It's like building a house. Nothing's gonna end up the way exactly the blueprint said. Oh, sorry, sir. Like I remember we got my house, it was like, no, we had oak stairs. You didn't get oak, you got birch. I mean, things change.
Okay.
And
And
some
then you
things.
make it on WordPress.
Right, so I'm gonna show you how to, I'm gonna show you next week. Next week we'll do another full lesson like this, but I'm gonna get into these other little nuances, like how to make this sort of on a browser, how to trick an average person to think this is a real website. But an average person that doesn't know any better will say, oh, nice website. They might not go and resize the browser window to test it if it's responsive. Who the heck does that anyways? Do you do that?
Well,
Do you go resize the browser window to see if the website's responsive? No. Who does that? You do it now, but not before. Do your friends do that? Just watch an average person go to a website. It's click, 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 click. That's it. They don't go resize it. Oh, look at that. They don't care. So I'm going to teach you that stuff next week, okay? We'll serve this up on a browser. We can even get a server and make it an index page and load it up like a real website. You can really trick people to think it's a website. You could. Just embed the HTML file through Figma, through a cloud, populate the browser to look like a website. So if that goes with your portfolio presentation, then you might be able to be okay with that. Consult your teacher, okay? Ask Jeremy for that. Okay, so now, that's it. So next week we'll continue on the same file. I'm not going to build this from scratch again. I already did enough to show you how to get started. I know you have your work cut out. Build this thing, and next week we'll elevate more. I'll teach you some other techniques, how to do overlays, image swaps, and stuff like that to do a better portfolio presentation. Okay? All right. So on that note, have a great week ahead, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye for now. Recording.